Imagine a 4-bedroom house for under $200,000, rent for less than $850 a month. In 2025, this still exists. It's not in LA, it's not in Miami. All you see are housing crisis headlines everywhere, but some cities are still flying completely off the radar. We found 16 of them, the last affordable cities in America, before the algorithm finds them too. We're talking Appalachian punk towns, 2 frozen tech utopias, places with low rent, weird culture, and a real sense of community. One of these cities has more deer than humans. Another one rebuilt its theaters with pocket change. Choosing the wrong place to live could cost you thousands of dollars, or worse, your peace of mind. So stick around, because at this point, this is a survival guide. Coming in at number 16 is Bisbee, Arizona. Picture this: 10% art commune, 10% mining museum, and 80% wait. This is a real place. It's just 11 miles from the Mexico border. There's no Starbucks, no McMansions, just antique stores and people who actually wave at you. The median home price is around $195,000. You can rent a 2-bedroom for about $850 a month. The crime rate is 22% below the national average, and the population is just under 5,000 people. Your landlord is probably your neighbor, the one with the chickens. It's already halfway discovered, with people calling it the next Marfa or the new Asheville. But be warned, this is a vertical city. The stairs make walking to get coffee a full-on quad workout. The altitude-induced humiliation is real. The air smells like mesquite smoke and espresso. A raven sits on a power line while a banjo plays somewhere nearby. You can buy a house for less than your friend S. Tesla and grab a drink at a bar that S literally inside a cave, because of course there is. Time moves slower here. People are weirder. You'll actually talk to strangers, and you won't miss Trader Joe's as much as you think. Number 15 takes us to Johnstown, Pennsylvania. This city has been declared dead more times than disco, but it's still standing, and it's still weird. It survived 3 catastrophic floods and a collapsed steel economy. Now it has $55,000 houses, a robotics program, and a coffee shop inside a church. The median home price is an unbelievable $55,200. Rent for a 2-bedroom is about $730 a month, and the crime rate is 21% lower than the U.S. average. The population is around 18,000. You can buy a house for less than a year of parking in San Francisco. A word of warning though, the roads were seemingly designed by a drunk goat. Every road is either a blind curve or a steep hill, and your GPS will just give up mid-route. Picture a brick row house from 1905, grabbing a coffee at the Flood City Cafe, and then catching a punk show in the ruins of an old steel mill. Johnstown never left. It just stopped waiting for permission to matter. It's a city of community gardens, indie theaters, and free little libraries. Lower rent means the freedom to actually try things. As one local put it, your neighbor will plow your driveway at 6 a.m. and then completely ignore you at the grocery store. It's a quiet defiance. Next up, number 14, Eureka, California. Think sea lions, anarchism, and a whole lot of coffee. This is the fog-drenched outsider art version of California, the weird coast, the lost coast. The median home price is around $315,000, which is incredibly low for California. Rent for a 2-bedroom is about $1,150. It has high property crime but low violent crime with a population of around 26,000. The main industries are tourism, cannabis, art, and fisheries. One resident said, "It's like being inside an old painting that smells like weed and dead fish." It's beautiful, weird, and charming, and everyone assumes it's more dangerous than it actually is. But the fog is a personality. It's an existential fog, not some cute mist. It rolls in at 3 p.m. like a traumatic ghost. You'll be wearing flannel in July and writing seaweed poetry. You'll live in a creaky Victorian duplex that smells of salt and thyme. ULLC, a cinnamon roll shop next to a store with a no-cop sign and a giant squid mural on the wall. This place gives you access to an almost extinct lifestyle, living near the redwoods, joining an artist co-op, hanging out with sea lions, and still being able to afford your groceries. Eureka has its problems, but at least it doesn't pretend it doesn't. At number 13, we have Wheeling, West Virginia. Here, you can get a house for under $120,000, and your neighbor is as likely to be a drag queen as a steelworker. It's Appalachia, but with some serious plot twists. The median home price is about $118,000, and you can rent a one-bedroom for $780,000. The crime rate is 17% below the national average. The city is buzzing with craft beer, street art, and affordable housing. The economy is driven by healthcare, manufacturing, and a growing number of remote workers fueling a vibrant art scene. It's walkable, with riverfront parks and a historic theater. Someone described it as 50% old money, 50% artists, and 100% confused by both. The low costs have attracted a wave of creatives, remote workers, and LGBTQ+ communities, making it a weirdly progressive river city. But be prepared for a workout. The hills make Wheeling a cardio machine city. Every walk is a hike. Every errand feels like climbing Everest. If your legs aren't burning, you might be a ghost. The air smells of the river, wood smoke, and pierogies at 10 in the morning. A 19th century mansion has been turned into an art cop, and a biker bar now hosts yoga classes in an old bank vault. Number 12 is Pueblo, Colorado. It's a steel town that loves its green chili, discovered art, and then forgot to gentrify. It's not Boulder, it's not Denver, and it's definitely not Aspen. The median home price here is around $220,000 compared to Denver's $640,000. Rent for a two-bedroom is about $1,150, and the cost of living is 17% below the national average. You can actually afford a backyard, a grill, and a steak, a lifestyle that's basically illegal in California. The one downside, the wind. The wind here feels like angry air gods are personally mad at you. Chasing your trash can down the street is a regular Looney Tunes-esque event. Pueblo doesn't pretend to be fancy. It's a place that gives you the space to live without drowning in debt. You can build a home, start a business, form a band, or create a burrito empire. But a heads up, Denver folks are starting to catch on. And you have to experience the Slopper Festival, where they serve a burger literally drowned in green chili. It's chaotic, glorious, and has zero corporate approval. Finally, at number 11, we land in Grand Forks, North Dakota. This city offers space, safety, and sanity. But your eyelashes might freeze by 7 a.m. The winters are absolutely brutal, but the people are some of the friendliest you'll ever meet. The median home price is about $214,000. Rent for a two-bedroom is around $950 a month. The crime rate is an astounding 37% below the national average, and unemployment is just 2.3%. It boasts top schools, clean air, and almost no traffic. If you can handle the cold, Grand Forks is a hidden gem that offers an incredible quality of life for a fraction of the cost you'd find elsewhere. 10. Georgia is what happens when a Southern Gothic novel meets a live band, takes bourbon, and forgets rent is due because two-bedroom rentals still cost under $1,000. Home of Otis Redding, Little Richard, and the Allman Brothers, median home price is $145,000. Rent is $980 monthly, and cost of living is 21% below average. Crime is higher, especially property crime, but slowly improving, with jobs in healthcare, education, logistics, and growing arts economy. Reddit says Macon is 50% front porch storytelling and 50% yelling at city council about potholes. You get used to both. Macon is a city of contradictions, sweet tea, and systemic issues. Velvet music history and rough edges, but downtown fills, with art collectives and soul food joints from the civil rights era. The pollen deserves its own villain origin story, where you'll sneeze your ancestry out during peak cherry blossom season, like being kissed by a violent floral slap, walking past a pink brick soul club with Tuesday Night Otis covers. You grab fried catfish under mossy trees and realize sweet tea at 89 beats $6 oat milk, lattes. Living in Macon means accepting imperfection with freedom to do something about it too, not priced out or boxed in, and the biggest gift isn't cheap rent, it's time. 9. Peoria, Illinois. Peoria, Illinois is the city everyone forgets until they see rent prices and suddenly remember very fast it's the testing ground for average Americans that hasn't been average for a long time. Median home price is $130,000. Rent is $900 monthly for two bedrooms. Cost of living is 22% below national average. And jobs exist in healthcare, Caterpillar Inc., tech-adjacent roles, and a surprising startup scene. Crime is higher in specific neighborhoods, but citywide trends are improving. Reddit says Peoria is aggressively chill. Nothing happens, but in a good way. Downtown is revitalizing with more festivals than expected, a comedy scene punching above its weight, and riverside trails too humble to try for postcards. Drivers treat turn signals like emotional commitments they're not ready for. You get all 4 seasons in one day where 2 are winter, and roundabouts are treated like NASCAR laps or portals to other dimensions. When housing doesn't financially choke you, you can do something radical actually. Build a life with room to breathe, experiment, and fail without going broke. In a world where affordability is becoming mythological, Peoria feels almost rebellious. 8. New London, Connecticut. New London. Connecticut is a coastal glitch in the Connecticut Matrix with cheap rent, fresh seafood, and haunted sailor vibes that show up in novels right before storms. Median rent is $1,100 for 2 bedrooms near water. Cost of living is 10% below Connecticut average, and the 27,000 population creates small-town feel with enough weirdness. Crime is mid-level, but mostly petty, where your porch gnome might vanish, but not your car. Job anchors include electric boat, Coast Guard Academy, plus scrappy arts and tourism economy. You get salt air, smell, lighthouses in peripheral vision, and town with haunted house backstory-level character where local theater thrives and painters aren't priced out. Parking downtown is a cryptic escape room with signs from 1972 contradicting each other. Weather means dating fog now, and a train goes directly through downtown, making zero effort to be quiet. Walking past cobblestone alleys with ocean breeze, you hear sea shanties from a former brothel bar, stop for coffee in a converted lighthouse, and watch crabs scuttle like they own the place. New London has more public art per capita than any Connecticut city. Even utility boxes judge your fashion choices. 7. Racine, Wisconsin lets you buy a lakefront home for the price of a Chicago parking space and still complain about taxes like a true Wisconsinite. Median home price is $165,000. Rent is $1,150 for 2 bedrooms. Cost of living is 18% below average, and a mix of waterfront parks, walkable neighborhoods, and killer food scene includes Frank Lloyd Wright architecture plus illegally addictive bakeries. Crime is mixed high in some pockets, peaceful in others, where 2 blocks make a world of difference. Reddit says Racine is great if you know where to be and where to pretend you're lost. Racine is in real transition with revitalized downtown blocks next to vacant storefronts and beautiful lakefront near streets recovering from economic gut punches. Wisconsin has to season's winter and road construction wear. Lake Michigan wind slaps your soul out, and construction detours into another detour into Dairy Queen. Mornings feel gentle where the lake looks like a moving mirror. Neighbors wave, kids play outside, backyard grills smell good, and your mortgage is smaller than your old studio apartment. You get lake views without bankruptcy, a house without 40-year mortgage sentence, and community that's rebuilding where you can help getting your life back with time, space, and breathing room. 6. Scranton, Pennsylvania. Scranton, Pennsylvania is where half the country thinks nobody lives, and the other half is your cousin, who bought a duplex for used Tesla price, while we quoted The Office. Median home price is $148,000. Rent is $950 monthly. Unemployment is 4.6%. Crime is lower than Philly, and cost of living is 24% below average. Scranton wears rust like a badge with coal town roots and blue-collar soul. But lately, an odd little glow-up happens with young people buying homes, tech scene trying, downtown getting a facelift, and actual public transit that doesn't make you cry. It's rebuilding slowly and scrappily in that gritty northeast way. The roads aren't potholes, they're geological events, where hitting one wrong sends you through a wormhole. To 1986, and despite 4 seasons of repair, roads never actually get repaired in a Groundhog Day with axle damage. With $700 mortgage, you walk to corner bakeries from the Truman administration, where streets smell like rain and fresh bagels. Passing kids skateboarding, past Catholic churches, blasting 80s rock here, not in a cool city, but a real one. You're not chasing trends or fighting for parking or spending $1,800 monthly for 600 square feet and broken dishwashers. The biggest flex isn't clout hits community. 5. Rockford, Illinois. Rockford, Illinois is that side character who turns out to be a secret genius, paying $700 mortgage while you shell out $2,000 for a Brooklyn broom closet. Median home price is $142,000. In 2025, not a typo, rent is $910 monthly. Unemployment is 5.2% and dropping. Cost of living is 24% below average, and violent crime of 11.2 per 10,000 is high but trending down. Rockford's been called everything from most dangerous small city to Chicago's angry cousin, but it's not static hits in motion. The local economy leans into aerospace, logistics, and healthcare, while old factories turn into tech spaces, art studios, or breweries serving millennial meltdown IPA. Why do half of affordable cities come with haunted highway infrastructure where Rockford drivers treat speed limits like vague pencil suggestions and every four-way stop is a Hunger Games audition? Every pothole rearranges your spine on the way to Aldi in true Illinois fashion. You get space to breathe with whole houses containing actual rooms, plural, driveways, and neighbors who wave giving up, polish, but gaining freedom. It's not trendy or shiny, but Rockford doesn't care about keeping up appearances, focusing on keeping costs down instead, which is weirdly refreshing, with higher crime rates, but still feeling safer than parallel parking in Boston. 4. Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio is what happens if Detroit and a small college town had a chill, affordable baby who learned to fix its own furnace housing, priced like 2008, where craft beer costs less than parking. Median home price is $129,000. Rent is around $900 monthly. Cost of living is 25% below national average. Unemployment is 5.4% with solid blue-collar and healthcare growth, and violent crime is 9.4 per 1,000. Reddit says Toledo is where your neighbor snow blows your sidewalk then yells at your dog for peeing on their lawn. It's confusing, but I respect it. Toledo has layers. As a Rust Belt Phoenix midshed 1 minute, you see boarded warehouses. Next, you're at an art museum with a Monet inside. There's a weirdly good food scene. Elite Metro Park system, University of Toledo bringing life. And you can get burger, haircut, and full gas tank for less than a San Francisco night out, including Uberback. Toledo drivers treat turn signals like secrets with surprise lane changes on I-75 using no blinkers or warnings, just vibes. And every traffic light lasts 30 seconds longer than necessary, where you age in left turn lanes. Toledo isn't flashy, but works. You get grit, pride, Midwestern stubbornness with kindness, keeping more money and sanity while the city focuses on fixing sidewalks and funding libraries instead of becoming the next Austin. You come for cheap living and stay because you randomly fell in love with a grilled cheese food truck and 70-year-old bartender named Carl. 3. Rochester, New York. Rochester, New York is calling if you want to own a home and build character through annual Frostbite. The city invented modern photography, then forgot to smile in every economic downturn since. Median home price is $159,000. Rent is $1,100 monthly. Cost of living is 22% below national average. Violent crime is 9.8 per 1,000. And the job market anchors in education, healthcare, and surprisingly, tech startups. Rochester is complicated with culture, history, and winter that punches lungs. But quality of life is elite, with great libraries, a jazz scene that won't quit, and food punching way above its weight. There's a citywide, hey, we're still here, energy that's scrappy, smart, and weird in the best way. The garbage plate is a local legend: mac salad, baked beans, French fries, meat, onions, mustard mixed together like a dare gone too far that's delicious and dangerous as a hangover cure invented by a chaos major. You step outside on crisp fall mornings with golden leaves and coffee, smell wood smoke and hot bread, wave to your retired jazz musician neighbor with sunflower gardens, then shovel your driveway because snow said surprise. You get affordability without losing soul in a city where you can buy a duplex, walk to record stores, and avoid suburb copy-paste nightmares. Rochester has personality, not trendy but steady, and that's starting to feel radical. 2. Buffalo, New York. Buffalo, New York is that friend who went through hell, found therapy, and now owns a house sit. Been the punchline for decades, with Bills fans in blizzards yelling, "This is fine," but lately wins economically and emotionally. Median home price is $218,000. Rent is $1,130 monthly. Cost of living is 12% below average. Unemployment is 3.9%. Violent crime is 9.9 per 1K, and it's become one of the most livable cities in the Northeast. Buffalo doesn't just get snow, it hosts winter as performance art, where cars disappear into drifts by Thanksgiving, and the city shrugs character development. Reddit says, Buffalo is where your neighbor snowblows your driveway, then hands you a beer before noon. People here don't own umbrellas, but systems-heated boots, emergency salt packs, emotional support coffee mugs, yet function better than most of us. You live in a brick apartment with radiators clinking like jazz, where cold slaps your soul but the bagel shop pulls cinnamon rolls from ovens. Someone waves across the street. You wave back in 6 layers, and it's fine because this feels like living. Buffalo should have collapsed, but didn't it reinvested and rebuilt with wild optimism, like the city knows it's staging a comeback and dares you to doubt it. You get history, grit, loyalty, and real shots at owning property that won't bankrupt descendants. Plus, more Frank Lloyd Wright architecture than your overpriced city has parking wired flex, but true. 1. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan isn't just the underdog, it's the underdog that bought real estate, got therapy, and learned to cook, transforming from cautionary tale to blueprint. Median home price is $93,000, not a typo. Rent is $1,020 monthly. Cost of living is 26% below national average. Unemployment is 5.7% and improving. And violent crime of 23.5 per 10,000 is still high but hyperlocalized. You can buy 3-bedroom houses for what Manhattan parking costs monthly in a city that hit rock bottom and started building up. Detroit has the highest percentage of black homeownership of any major U.S. city. Crime is real, but recovery is also real. Detroit doesn't have potholes, but moon craters where you form trauma bonds with them each spring in trust falls with your suspension. And public transit exists not frequently or in straight lines, but rents so low you afford new tires and Uber. Living in Detroit is like dating someone chaotic, but hot at fixing bikes, scary at first, surprisingly loyal, where you might hear gunshots but also jazz because it's about balance. Detroit is still raw, complicated, loud, proud, and resilient if you want to be part of something rebuilding itself in real time. This is the only big city left where the door is still open. One resident said, "I moved because I couldn't afford DC, stayed because my block throws cookouts, and I can see where my money goes. It's not just affordable, it's possible." Like this video if you've ever Googled Detroit house prices at 2 a.m. in a rabbit hole. Subscribe if your backup life plan involves buying a $60,000 house and running a food truck. Honestly, that's not the worst idea.